I have two helicopter companies that I'm currently using, so I can take you up in a helicopter, say your wedding vows. It's called Get Married in the Sky.
Today I'm here with Kimberly Tucker from I Do Florida Weddings. Kimberly, thanks for coming on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We know you do planning, officiating, but you have something new going on. You got to tell us about that.
I do. It's called Get Married in the Sky. So I can take you up in a helicopter. We'll go along the coastline of Florida over Cocoa Beach, say your wedding vows, and then, simple, in and out, get married in the sky.
That sounds fun and really adventurous.
I just rolled it out. I just spoke with, I have two helicopter companies that I'm currently using, and we're getting ready for our first one.
So for photo and video, we can't fit in the helicopter, but we could work with them a little bit before, a little bit after, get some shots of them pulling away, right?
That's correct. And one of the helicopter companies, actually, they use a GoPro, the other one does not. So, the pricing is going to be a little bit different depending on which company I use and what the client wants.
Awesome. Always looking for something new, something different. You've been in the wedding industry, helping people plan for weddings and officiating their weddings for a long time. We've been working with you at a million weddings. We know that if we're going to be working with Kimberly Tucker, we're going to have a smooth day. Everything's going to go well. What is the keys to that?
Thank you. I totally appreciate that. I think for me and for my business, it's about doing something different than what other people are not doing. And that's where, getting the helicopter weddings and just stepping out of your box and doing something, that is not the ordinary. I do the same thing when I officiate. I don't have a generic, I do script. I like to tailor it around, their ceremony, their love story. I think the ceremony is the kickoff to the reception, so it should be just as important. No different, when I'm doing the wedding planning, I want to do things a little bit different than others. They say that my superpower is my calmness. So, that's very helpful.
Having couples who have minimum stress because they have prepared well with their planner or their officiant is going to make for much better photos and videos. It's always a conversation I have with my couples. So being able to have that under control, have any of the little things that may be mistakes in the timeline worked out before the day is always best. So tell me, how do you work with them when you're starting to put together a timeline?
Timelines are very important. I know for me that I'm very detailed in my timeline. So my couples are going to get the timeline from the moment that they get up in the morning to what time the ladies are meeting for hair and makeup, who's in the chair first for hair, who's in the chair first for makeup, what time, the guy's side, they all have to meet. And, the timeline is so detailed and so intense that it can be 16 pages. I know that some of the other vendors, they get the timeline and they're like, wow, this is amazing. There's so much information in here. But I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, for everything that we're doing and that there's no question about it. That also keeps the couples at a calm base, for the day, so they know what's going on and they know what's happening and where everybody's at. So I think the timeline is it's just so important for a wedding day.
Strong communication, good preparation is going to make for a calm, relaxing, enjoyable day that's going to go on plan. And if things go a little off plan, there's contingencies and there's time built in to get back on plan.
There is. You have to be very adaptable and flexible to whatever environment is going on. I tell my couples that I do my best to stay on the timeline. However, there are those photo moments that you are going to want, and it's okay if we go over. I'll make it up elsewhere down the road. And the other thing that I tell my couples about wedding day is nobody knows what you've planned. And it's okay if something doesn't go right. Nobody knows. So that right there takes the stress off of them and makes them feel a little bit more at ease.
Yeah, just enjoy your day, right? Obviously, we're going to plan a lot of things. There's a lot of excitement around it, but at the very top of the day, just have a great day, have a great time, enjoy it between you and, your spouse.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. It is their day. It's about them. They get it once in a lifetime. Take your moment to shine.
In the planning process, what is kind of the number one misconception that maybe a couple or a bride brings up to you that you're, helping educate them on?
I think the biggest misconception in our world is there's two, right? So one is I already have a coordinator at the venue. Well, That venue coordinator is just that, the venue coordinator. They're going to take care of the tables and the chairs and the linens and whatever else comes with the venue. But anything you're bringing in, if you're bringing in a guest book, your memory book, your favors, anything special, that you have for the day of, if you've made your own centerpieces, whatever that stuff may look like, they are not going to take care of that. They're not going to do your timeline. They're not going to do vendor management. They're not going to, take care of your guests like, a month of coordinator or a wedding planner would. So there's a big misconception there. They think they already have that coordinator. Come the day of, now their family's having to do it and they're stressed out. And the second misconception that most people have is day of coordinator and month of coordinator. If I came in the day of your wedding and I did not know a timeline and didn't know who your vendors were, or, what your food choices were, it's going to be a disaster. So it is actually called month of coordination. We come in, 6 to 8 weeks prior. We figure out, all the logistics. We put all the dot the I's, cross the T's for you. We take everything that you've planned, roll it up into a really nice, what I call a bow, and make a beautiful day for you.
Good point. Yeah. And, what I always say is we do dozens of weddings a year, and they probably, hopefully, only do one, maybe two in their lifetime. So we have to be there to help, not just on the day, not just be great at what we do, but educate through the process, pass information, and obviously adapt with the industry as well, right? Lots of things have changed in the last 20, 30 years, right? We still have the I-dos. We still have, the kiss, but for the most part, a lot of things change, trends come and go. What have you seen, especially the last couple of years, that has changed other than people getting married in helicopters in the air?
I have seen there's, the bridal bouquet toss is now not just all the single ladies, it's all the ladies on the dance floor. I'm seeing that the garter, that's no longer, it's not happening. The garter toss is not happening. One of the things that I love the most is that the events are now separated at a reception. So the bride comes in. Nowadays, what I like to do is the bride will come in, she'll do her first dance, then they do the toast, the speeches, and then they go into dinner. Back in the day, it used to be they would automatically go into the father-daughter dances, things like that. I think that it's really important for the couple to have that moment of themselves on that dance floor and to separate those events up so that, it's just a little bit more meaningful for them, and it is their moment and their time to shine. Things like that. I also see during the ceremonies that it's all unplugged now. They want the photographers to do the job, so Aunt Susie's not stepping out into the aisleway, right? But now I'm also seeing that they're taking a 30-second photo op before the ceremony so that their guests can get that photo. Social media is huge. Some of the couples don't want their posts to be put out on social media before they do, so they want those unplugged weddings. So there are changes like that, that are happening.
Well, Kimberly, thank you for coming on the show. How can people reach you? How can people get the Kimberly Tucker experience at their wedding?
Absolutely. Just reach out to me on social media or my website. It's idofloridaweddings.com. All the social media handles, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, I Do Florida Weddings, and I do's are what I do best.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait for our next wedding with you. Thanks, Kimberly.
Thank you.